Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Xemex XE 5000 chronograph. Slightly older design, but one of my absolute favorites from Xemex. Xemex is a brand whose designs are by an industrial designer named Ruedi Küllin, and his signature is right there on the back of the watch over the sapphire crystal. Not entirely sure if you can see that. One of my first Swiss watches ever. There it is. One of my first Swiss watches ever was a Xemex. I bought it well over a decade ago. It's a model called the Off-Road, and it's, in my opinion, too small for my wrist these days, so I don't wear it. And it was actually a quartz. The brand sells quartz and mechanical watches. The XE 5000 is, of course, a mechanical watch with a Swiss Etta Valjo 7750 chronograph. Pretty standard chronograph movement, solid, reliable, does its job well. This watch was designed during an era when there just simply weren't as many 7750s around, so it is a quite popular movement, but I think the price for this watch is actually quite fair. So you have a 44 millimeter wide steel case, sort of modern minimalist design, a little bit, I guess what you call it, I don't want to say bulbous, but it has sort of, if you think icopod, I guess a little bit there. In that sort of realm where you have sort of a thickness to it, but also smooth curves. Very elegant design. One of the interesting design features here on the watch is you can see there's relatively bold chronograph pushers, these nice rectangular ones, but the crown is actually inset and it's flush. And so when the watch is just normally operating, you only see the chronograph pushers and not the crown. Now this is one of the more interesting, but also, I guess you could say my complaint about the watch is it's difficult to manually wind. It is, of course, an automatic, but if you wanted to manually wind it, when you extend the crown, it only goes out a teeny little bit, and that's all the way out in order to adjust the hands. So adjusting the time, and of course, if you want to wind it like this, you kind of move it there, and it kind of, you can do it, but it's not what I would say the most pleasant experience. Minor quibble because overall I just like the design. It's one of those things that if I didn't like the design so much, I wouldn't necessarily put up with that kind of sacrifice, but I do like it a lot. The case is steel. My favorite part of this particular version of the XE 5000 is the perlage dial, which I think is beautiful, and you can see that the dial is perlage polished, which is a circular polish. The chronograph subdials are meant to look like large, I guess you could say, perlage circles. There's a little bit of glare coming off the sapphire crystal there, but overall the dial is quite legible. The hands, which is sort of a distinctive Xemex design where you have this arrow-style hour hand and this blocky minute hand that I've always just happened to like a lot, are very legible, and they're coated in black. No lume, but again, the legibility is there, and there's a date window. So I think the dial is designed overall in a very interesting and distinctive manner, and looking at that perlage polishing is great. Perlage is a polishing that you see on some movements, and it's quite rare to find it off a movement. So let's put the watch on my wrist. It comes with a rubber strap that you have to cut to size. I'm probably going to get a different strap just because this one, it's in that range where it's slightly tight on me, but if I would have not cut one link, it'd be slightly too large. The clasp is very minimalist there, has the Xemex name. Works nicely, and again, I appreciate that it's minimalist and there's an excess, but again, it has to be cut to size. The good news is that you have a standard strap here, so I was thinking about all kinds of interesting straps. So I wonder what I'll end up putting on here. This is a relatively uncommon watch. You probably won't see a lot of places, but I believe that sort of Xemex is trying to make a little bit of a comeback. I hope they do, because I really love this stuff. A classic, gorgeous design, not for everyone, but definitely something that's up my alley. Price for the Xemex XE 5000 chronograph is 2,305 Swiss francs. I believe that is the out of Switzerland price, because that does not include the Swiss tax. And you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.